Sometimes things go full circle. Sometimes, you make podcasts shorter to try to retain audience retention and also spare me, the indignity of spending entire days editing it which would normally not take as long. It makes everybody happier. I have a lot more things to balance in my life, but sometimes something is so ironic, and we end on a topic that is so juicy, and we just send it out into the void, me and Dennis, the hosts of the Double D Experience, and then the universe just gives us a nice sentence back for our podcast for the next episode. Because we ended last week talking on Facebook, and we're going to start this one on Facebook again, because the very day that me and Dennis talked about that, or not talked about it, I think it was the very day we uploaded last week's podcast, which was, I believe, last Tuesday, if I'm not mistaken, Facebook announced that they're doing a lot of restructuring to their, company and just their general rules of conduct in a way that reminds me only of Twitch. With how stupid, this change is. We all know Twitch, for making all those dumb changes periodically, just to substitute the e-girls and, let them do whatever they want while, Mango gets banned for humping a statue. All sorts of stuff like that. But I gotta say, this change, with how huge its effects will be, as the biggest social media platform in the world with 3 billion users, that's almost half the world's population. Sure, a lot of those are burner accounts, if I'm being real, of just other people, who knows. But Facebook, there's no other way to say this. They're bending the knee. And as a head of the Trump administration, what they are doing is they have announced that they are removing fact-checking from the website. And to put that in layman's terms for all you Double D Experience fans, you know how this guy across from me usually says, we don't deal with facts on this show? Well, now we don't deal with facts on Facebook. Except on Facebook, and I hate to admit it, but, I'm just going to address the elephant in the room. Facebook is bigger than the Double D Experience. It needed to be said. We had to get that out into the open. I bend the knee to it. And I bend the knee that Facebook is better, just as Zuckerberg is bending the knee to Donald Trump ahead of the administration. Dennis, they announced they're basically replacing it with, I think, the community notes system. Even if they are implementing the community note system, which if you don't know what the community note system is...
Yeah, I was going to ask, what is that?
It's the best thing that ever happened to Twitter. Basically, as Musk turned it into an alt-right hellhole, basically the community can, gather up facts and, link articles and stuff when somebody posts something that's blatantly untrue, and they can post the correct one below. And it's always correct. It's those ones are actually fact-checked. So in that way, Twitter is now more fact-checky than Facebook, I suppose. But, I think that's what they're going to be doing, but before I even get into, the nitty-gritty here, it's just so blatant. It's just completely fucking blatant more than anything else, because essentially, they're changing their rules around not only fact-checking, but also around what constitutes hate speech. And I'll throw this one on screen right here for you. It's the one I sent to Dennis. Basically, as far as transparency goes... You're now allowed to just basically insult people in even more and gratuitous fashions. And also based off of certain things about somebody. And what are those certain things? Well, this is a direct quote from their Transparency Center, which is basically their fact center. Mental characteristics, including but not limited to allegations of stupidity, intellectual capacity, and mental illness, and unsupported comparisons between PC groups... on the basis of intellectual capacity. We do allow, however, allegations of mental illness or abnormality when based on gender or sexual orientation, given the political and religious discourse about transgenderism and homosexuality and common non-serious usage of the words weird. They just announced that you are allowed now to straight up call a person crazy, insane, stupid, any various insult that you want towards them, deliberately based on their sexual preference, if they are part of the LGBTQ community. Which is insane. Given, we already know the hate speech laws in this country. I mean, you're allowed to... Hate speech is already pretty much allowed, which is funny about this, Dennis, by the way, because in Europe... Facebook's going to be completely different in Europe now. You know what they call a quarter pounder with cheese in France?
Royale cheese.
That's right, my friend. Well, Facebook is now going to be completely different in Europe as well, because Facebook with the European Parliament, they got laws against that shit. Facebook is going to look completely different now over there than it is in America, because in Europe... In Europe, fact-checking is a legal requirement for social media and these things. That's why it's not as toxic over there. You can't just go on and say whatever the fuck you want blatantly, no matter how untrue it is, and then gain a bunch of followers for your shitty podcast. In America, that's a totally different story, and given what the upcoming president's stances are on those kinds of things, essentially what this is, and the reason I wanted to talk about it beyond the obvious, is because Mark Zuckerberg is essentially just bending the knee.
No. Bending the knee is one thing, but getting on both knees with his hands behind his back and his mouth agape is another thing entirely. And that is the level that he is stooping to. Bending the knee and like swearing fealty and all that shit, like, you know, in my opinion, it's like, you know, it's just playing the game, sure, but I think for him as well, I think it is also kind of the same thing. He is very much just, I think, playing the game, but at the same time, it's like we've also kind of known for years, and, you know, even my boy here, you know, David has also said the same thing pretty recently, in that, you know, a lot of these guys, these CEOs, they just go where the money is. And, you know, if this country became a crazy fascist dictatorship like fucking next week, they would ride that train, because that's where the fucking wind blows. And, you know, to a certain extent, it's like, on one hand, businesses got to do what they have to do, but, you know, it's just kind of so, you know, it's so naked, if that makes sense. It is so blatant as to what you know, Zucky, like, you know, what he's doing right now.
I would argue this is the most blatant code of conduct change since they implemented hot tub streams. Since that became its own category. Like, that one was so blatant where they're just like, yeah, this specific thing with a hot tub is allowed now. Why? Even though, like, it breaks every code of conduct on the website, makes us too much money. And this, it's very important to note here that corporations are not people. They're not people. They will swing whichever fucking way, like Dennis said, that is beneficial to them. And they can tell where the tide is going with the upcoming administration and with how powerful his base is online, to say the least. Social media is the reason he won in 2016. Yeah, you know? That, like, was in terms of politically, and the fact that it's changed social consciousness in a way that I believe can't be repaired, or at the very least not for a very long time, is why I personally think social media is one of the worst things that's ever happened to the world. I'm at the point where I'm teetering on, like, you know, I always thought the cons of social media outweighed the pros, but now we are especially there. Because just last week, we were talking about how there's no reason to use Facebook anyway, because it's all ads, and, like, just, like people you don't even follow, not like your wife's, like, you know, friend or whatever who just had a baby and you saw it on Facebook, not like, you know, like an old company or a job posting or whatever. It's none of that shit now. It's not even a social network anymore, barely. There's like nothing social about Facebook. You would have the same experience on Facebook that you do if you plopped yourself on like one of those billboards that you see on the highway and you just kept swiping on a giant screen to see ad after ad after ad after ad. It's the same thing. As far as the dead internet theory goes, Facebook is the perfect example of it, with how they announced they're trying to make fake accounts on the website now, which they went back on in 3 days, by the way, because of the backlash. And just porn and AI shit. None of the stuff on there is real, and now it's about to get even less real. So already, all of that was a perfect example of how Facebook has just fallen from grace as just what was formerly an online phone book and is now just an online advertisement. There is literally no reason to just, like, meticulously scroll through Facebook constantly unless you're an idiot. At the very least, you know, on like some other social media platforms, like it's designed to keep you enthralled scrolling just, you know, just to be entertained. But on Facebook, it's shit that you didn't even choose to see. It's all just ads and meme pages and stuff. We already talked about this last week, man. But now, and titties, yeah. But now the few things that you're going to see from people is going to be even more unhinged than it was before. Mark Zuckerberg essentially just like invented a place to find out that your uncle's kind of racist. We already knew that. But now,
he's not even racist uncle.
Oh yeah, you know what? Like your fucking drunkle Stan.
Yeah, you know the one who stumbles out of his car with the Jaeger bomb in hand, sits down at the dinner table. You know, asks for another beer, even though he just had like 7 already. Is that
fucking beer belly hit the table on the way sitting down
before his ass even touched the fucking chair.
Yeah, starts venting to his 5-year-old niece about how Bush did 9/11 or some shit. Like it just all sorts of fucked up stuff.
Hates all the minorities that he lives nearby him.
And now he's gonna be able to hate the ones that are nowhere near him with 0 restrictions. Because now there is also content that is you cannot post content that is explicitly providing or offering to provide products or services that aim to change people's sexual orientation or gender identity. This is the most like anti-woke shit I've ever seen. Just when I see like an LGBT page, I don't think, yeah, they're trying to make me gay. No. If I look at like porn of Codi Vore, who is pansexual and like fucks trans people too, I'm not suddenly into trans girls or whatever because I accidentally saw her fuck one for 5 seconds while I'm scrolling through it. Can I report that?
Does she though?
Yeah.
Oh,
she'll fuck anybody. Like anybody.
She fucked a sidewalk if she could, really.
She fucked a fan, and not in the sense of like no, not in the sense of fucking a fan. She did a joke video where she fucked a literal fan, and she called it Codi Vore fucks a fan, and like she took like the back end of like an air conditioning unit and shoved it into her cooter.
All right, you know what though? I don't know. There's like a really dumb part of
props for creativity.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. I'm just like, you know what? Props where props is due. You know, it's like
she did fuck a fan, and she also did one called. What Are You Doing, Step Ladder? And she did the same thing with a step ladder and just like put a step ladder above her and pretended to like hump it. Can you lower your mic gain a little bit? I hear myself laughing. I'm sorry.
You've got to be fucking kidding me.
Lower your headset, I meant, not your mic.
Yeah,
I apologize.
I did. Yeah.
But yeah, anyway, can I report that video? Because like, yeah, the trans people were trying to fucking make me gay.
I would only report it because that joke was terrible.
Right? Exactly. If anything, that's a reason to do that.
I've been bamboozled and I deserve recompense. I want damages from that stepladder. I will sue that stepladder for everything that it has.
What are you doing, stepladder? Jesus Christ. Seems like a funny gal. I'd love to meet her one day.
So goofy.
She's definitely among the goofy for sure. Certified. Yuck. But yeah, can I report the videos of her fucking trans people because I could claim, they're trying to make me gay? Is Zuckerberg basically saying that's allowed? Like, that's your fault for stumbling upon it, you jackass. And if it's making you question things about yourself, then maybe there's some things you gotta look in the mirror and have a conversation with yourself about, all right? Mm-hmm. You see what I mean about this? This is crazy. Like, it's the most blatant thing of all time. And especially with them saying common, non-serious usage of words like weird. Let's just, like, not beat around the bush. The word weird has been used by left people on the internet to insult, like, weird conservative people, right? They use weird as the insult, and that shit picked up a lot. Making viral posts about it, it seemed to be changing the consciousness, and they knew that made themselves look bad, so why else would, like, a specific word like weird be listed in a code of conduct like this? Code of conduct isn't written like that. Code of conduct says things like the thing above it. You can't insult people per character, including limited to allegations of cowardice, dishonesty, basic criminality, like, you know, like, general terms. When a specific term comes into play, Like how Twitch banned the word simp. You're not allowed to say simp in chats because they know that that's who fucking follows all these e-girls while they beat their meat off and pretend they have a girlfriend online. That's why they banned the word, because those people are their entire audience and they didn't want them to feel alienated. Well, who's the audience on Facebook? Your drunkle Stan. Exactly.
Yep, and the millions of the other, what was it?
Drunkles.
Drunkle Stan, yeah.
Your drunkles and what's a funny word for ant? I can't think of one. Your cants.
Carant.
Your carants. Sure.
Sounds so terrible.
I can't think of anything better. I can't think of anything better myself. Don't worry about it.
You can report me for that terrible joke. If nothing else. Just to keep it fair, right?
No, here's the thing. You can't. Even though you deserve to get reported for that joke. But if you were gay, you can chalk it up to that. It's crazy. They're getting rid of that. They're getting rid of like fact checking and stuff, which is like as another way to like show like the restructuring they're due as Facebook is leaning even more harder into their conservative and aging boomer base, which by the way is why they bought Instagram, because that's where all the young people were going, and as a result they knew they couldn't beat Instagram, which is why they purchased it in its entirety. Everybody was confused at the time. They're like, why'd they buy this photo app? It makes no sense. And that's why. It's because they're making mogul money moves like that.
I think it makes a lot of sense, truthfully.
No, from a business standpoint, it makes sense. That doesn't mean it's not shitty. Yeah. So another thing that they're doing as far as leaning into their aging boomer base is they've also announced that, I couldn't send you this article because I couldn't find it. It's somewhere in the realms of my phone somewhere. They announced that they are moving not their content moderators, or they're moving their bias team or whatever. Something about their content moderators or their bias team from California to Texas. They're moving their content moderators to Texas as a part of a plan to end their fact-checking program. What Zuckerberg claimed in that little video he made, which, by the way, the crazy thing about this, he literally looks like Logan Paul now.
Yeah, he does, actually, yeah.
He literally looks like Logan Paul. Like, the terrible tan, the fucking douchebag-ass, like, curly perm haircut that they all have now. He's way more muscular now, on top of all that. It's not surprising. Oh, by the way, the watch he was wearing in that video, $900,000. Yeah, $900,000 fucking dollars as well. Fuck you, I got mine. All off of social media platform that he probably stole. But that was never proven, I guess. That debate's gonna go to the end of time. Yeah, so they're moving their content moderation team from California to Texas as a plan to eliminate bias. They thought their team being based out of California made them too liberal. So now they're moving them to Texas.
Or things are a little more, conservative. Seen our squirrels? They're southern. And their sandy cheeks.
Sandy cheeks. I'm coming to clap those cheeks.
I don't even care if it feels like sandpaper.
I guess it turns out that the Donald Trump anthem, like the singer behind it, was fucking Zuckerberg the whole time.
Probably, yeah.
Donnie, I know you want me. There's nobody in this world who understands you, and I understand you, Donnie. That wife of yours ain't doing shit. Ugh, fucking hell. Yeah, he's bending the knee. Like, he literally looks like a podcast bro. Look at this asshole. Yeah. He's like, it's crazy how much that's changed. It's like he's even fitting the imagery to it, too. Absolutely nuts. There's the guy who claims, like, his, like, fucking underground bunker that he built in Hawaii has nothing to do with, like, a doomsday scenario or anything like that. Or for them to come for his ass.
Or come on his ass.
Come on his ass. Come on my ass.
Come on my ass.
Come on my tit.
Titty.
Donald is the best. I want to suck his dick. I love his fat ass and I love his juicy tits. Well, whatever. Basically, so all this just like in mind, like it's no secret where like they're going. And I wanted to talk about it not just because we talked about Facebook last week, but also because it is the textbook example of corporations will swing whichever way the pendulum goes as long as it's what's going to like not impact their bottom dollar the most, He's actually like you know, we thought Facebook was like not the safe haven. Facebook already sucked, but like with Musk basically like turning Twitter into an alt-right playground, it's crazy to see like Mark Zuckerberg doing the same thing just based on where the political swing went. I guarantee if Kamala won the election, he would not be doing all this shit. Like, guarantee it.
I guess maybe I'm even thinking about it where 4 years down the line, you know, after Trump finally leaves, and then we get our next president, whoever it may be. I don't know. I feel as if like maybe this might just even be a phase for the next 4 years, which kind of sucks to say, but like, you know,
it'd be better than it being a permanent thing.
Oh no, yeah, that's what I mean. Like, I feel as if like they're mainly doing this because like their guy who made them a lot of money in an indirect sort of way, is back for another 4 years, and might as well just capitalize in on it and then just make as much money as we can for 4 years, and then once he leaves, then okay, like that's it. We close up shop for all this shit. But at the same time, it's like, you know, I always did say that I preferably, when it came to a lot of like CEOs, I would love it more. Well, not love it more, but like at the very least, I would prefer it a lot more if a lot of them just always just came out and said like that, yeah, I'm an asshole. I'm the biggest douchebag on earth. And I like, and you know, just kind of like being like just straight honest. And at the very least, I'll give credit where credit's due. Zuck is definitely being way more honest right now than he's ever been with like just the kind of person he is. Because we always knew kind of what kind of person he was, even like from the very beginning. And
I just thought he wasn't a person.
That too, yeah. He's a you know, he's a lizard person. So
yeah.
So like I guess, you know, whatever this lizard person, like, you know, we already kind of knew what kind of lizard person he was. Just unfeeling, you know, just an asshole, really. But like, you know, it's so odd too, because like I'm looking at it and like, you know, definitely compared to a lot of other CEOs who have a lot of, let's say, fans, if that makes sense. Like, you know, we know Musk has his fans. There's plenty of people that like, you know, just love riding on that dude's cock. Like anytime he posts anything about on Twitter, like, you know, about Twitter, about Doge, whatever, everyone just like loves to hop on that train. And it's so odd too, because like, you know, Musk is trying to also cash in on like the fact that Trump's going to be president for another 4 years. But it's so odd because like Zuckerberg seems to be, I think, getting more hate than Musk, when in reality I almost think like Musk probably deserves as much hate from the public as much as Zuck does, considering like
you spend less time on the internet than I do. Like, people hate Musk every single day. Like,
do they? I mean,
yeah,
you know.
Ever since like his political stance. Oh, dude, you kidding? Yes. Ever since his political stances came out, Reddit completely flipped on him. Like, completely. Oh, yeah, dude, it's crazy. You can't go anywhere mentioning any news without him, without people telling him they want him to fucking die. And with all the shit that's came out about him, like, I kind of don't blame them in some respects. Not in the terms of wishing death, but in terms of fucking hating the guy. Mm-hmm. People are calling him President-elect Musk and shit. And everything. The internet's calling him that now. Like, it's a never-ending cycle with this guy just wanting the attention that he does. Like, people are not hating Zuckerberg more. Like, Zuckerberg is just the more recent news because of what he just announced about, like, Facebook and stuff right now. I mean, the guy literally, to chase the bag as the third richest man in the world, you don't even need a bag. A bag can't fit everything you have. Literally made a decision to specifically allow... specifically gay people you're allowed to call insane. That's fucking crazy to just implement. Like, he implemented a bias rule. You're allowed to be biased towards these specific people. You're allowed to do that. That's
but from nuts. On the other side of the fence, no, you can't do that.
How long is it going to be until like you can't say anything bad about Trump on Facebook?
Probably soon, really.
Right?
Yeah, I could see it being pretty soon.
Yeah, it's like it's just total chaos internally over there from like some of like the reports I've read and shit. It's wow. And it goes to show, like, oh, is Mark Zuckerberg just a total right-wing bro or whatever? No, he just goes where the money is. You know, like the rules used to be completely. You think he's always been like this? You think he's always been?
I don't think he was like no. I don't
this
think
fucking
he was
nerd
like
from Colombia or whatever probably got shoved in the lockers.
I think he's kind of changed with the times as well, but I think truthfully he was always kind of more not right leaning, but I think at the same time like most CEOs, most of them at least, like, you know, they more so lean on the conservative side from what I've seen. Not really so much like on a lot of political stances, because like I don't think anyone who has that amount of money and power really see any point in being like crazy political, other than the fact that I want to pay off these senators and these congressmen and even the president so they could just dance to my tune. And I mean, one person may even argue, well, like, okay, isn't that just politics in a nutshell anyways? Because like, you know, that is like kind of what people have been doing within government for like thousands of years, really. Just like a lot of backroom dealing, sure. But I look at a lot of these guys and like, I really don't think like they care about causes. They don't really care about like, you know, a lot of like the bigger issues, because a lot of them, all they care about is just at the end of the day, their bottom line, and which is, you know, obviously making money. And if things are running in a way where I will be making more money, then they're going to obviously follow that line until it ends, whenever it does.
He's also probably scared that, like, in the wake of Trump's presidency, that more people are going to, if Facebook remains, like, if Facebook doesn't shift to the right a little bit politically, or if these new rules aren't implemented where you can say all this, like, you know, right-wing shit, then he's going to lose users to Twitter. Like, he's going to lose even more because of what Musk turned Twitter into, basically.
He's probably taken lessons from his own, from Musk's book, in my opinion, as well. Because I think he probably saw, like, you know, just kind of what platform that he was kind of making. And despite, I guess, the overall tones of him doing so, or like, I guess the overall tone of like the of the current website now, like speaking of Twitter, you know, there is like just that, at least it kind of sucks to say this, but like, you know, hatred makes money. It sucks to say, but like, you know, for a lot of these platforms, it's the main thing they go on. Like, if we're talking about at least Twitter and Facebook. Instagram is an entirely different beast just because of what they sort of propagate and what it's used for compared to, let's say, Facebook and Twitter. Yeah. And, you know, it's just one of those things where, like, at least for those two platforms, so like for Facebook and Twitter, more often than not, like, it's just like, you know, for a lot of people, it's just like their virtual soapbox for them to just get on and then just say all the kind of like sort of politically charged but just mostly hateful bullshit that they love to just spew. And like, people are just so chronically online that, like, you know, people even who are obviously against this sort of shit, like, they engage, and then afterwards other people, like, you know, it just causes like that, you know, that buzz that, like, you know, people it's like the best way for you to stop that is just to not engage with them. But at the same time, it's just kind of like, it's kind of depressing to see that, like, you know, that's the it's become more of a place. It's become more of an arena than a place nowadays, if that makes sense. It's not really, you know, a place for y'all to, like, it's like a virtual town square that y'all can just go to, like, mingle with other people. It's more like literally, you know, I think like a literal gladiator arena in a way. Where, like, you know, all y'all just like, your opinions are your swords and you just swing away at each other, like, we just typing away whatever fucking opinions you may have on this or this issue. And it's so weird because, like, I'm just like, don't y'all have like real lives or some shit that, like, you know, need attending? Like,
well, that's the cosmic thing, really, of what social media has become, which involves a completely different discussion of, you know, we want to say none of this shit is real, or I want to say none of it is real, and that the internet is not a real place, social media is not a real place, and it's not really still at the end of the day, but
Being chronically online is one hell of a drug.
It really is. And being chronically online is how these people at the top make their money. You know, they want you to be here. That's why, you know, TikTok videos are so short. That's why every website, including Facebook, YouTube, and like Twitter, are doing these shorts now to emulate like the addictive nature of TikTok and to just keep you scrolling on it forever. It's why they want there to be this hateful political discourse, because they want people to like feel that inner rage inside and get into flame wars online, because the more time you spend on it, the more money they make, the better that is for their advertisers and stuff like that. And normally I would say that, you know, Facebook is going to lose advertisers over this. Why would they do this? Just like X lost as many advertisers as it has in Twitter. But with Trump winning again and, like, you know, this going the way that it's going, I would imagine that a lot of other companies might just follow suit. All the same companies that you've seen that, you know, go nuts in Pride Month for whatever, like, you know, like we support LGBTQ rights or whatever. I guarantee, like, if that shit goes out the window, if, like, gays lose their rights and, like, gay marriage has gone away and that became, like, you know, the prominent thing going around, silence.
Yep.
Complete silence.
Absolutely.
It has not. It's all completely performative. This is why when I say corporations aren't people, this is what I mean. There's no humanity behind this. They will just do whatever it fucking takes. Fuck over whoever they have to fuck over. Take whatever political stance they have to. Pay off whatever like shareholders or people at the top that they have to in order to fucking profit. Because it's just never enough. It all amounts to greed at the end of the day. One of the 7 deadly sins. It's worth noting as well that, you know, this, it's worth noting as well that they, you know, even, like, how do I say this, right? Like, they're fucking, some of the people at the top, like, you know, including Kaplan, who was, I'll quote the article here, was a prominent Republican who was elevated to the company's top policy job last week, announced, he acknowledged on Tuesday, yes, this is directly related to the changing administration. So this isn't even hyperbole. Like, for anybody who's like, because I know there's going to be people in the comments, like that fucking loser, like on episode 199 when we talked about like Trump winning and shit, who like lost his mind, like gargling on his fucking cock, like it was talking so much that he couldn't even get it out. We know we're going to get people like that who are going to be like, oh, you're getting ahead of yourself. You're just believing the media. This is all speculation. The literal person behind it
said it explicitly. Yeah, he was pretty explicit about it.
Like, you're living in a fucking fantasy land. Like, if you think, oh, you're just freaking out, this is no, it's not. Direct quote, there's no question there has been a change over the last 4 years. We saw a lot of societal and political pressure, all in the direction of more content moderation, more censorship, and we've got a real opportunity. Now we've got a new administration and a new president coming in who are big defenders of free expression, and that makes a difference. Oh, there's a Trump quote, too, which is the best one. During a press conference Tuesday at Mar-a-Lago, Trump said he watched Kaplan's appearance on Fox and said Meta has come a long way. I watched their news conference, and I thought it was a very good news conference. I think they've come a long way. Meta, Facebook, I think they've come a long way. I watched it. The man was very impressive. That wasn't just like the impression. I didn't stutter on words or repeat things on purpose. I read that exactly how it fucking says in the article that I'm reading right now. The Royale with cheese it's not the best Royale, but it's a good Royale. I think my Royale is better. My administration is kind of like a Royale.
You have to come to Trump Towers and have the best Royale with cheese you'll ever find.
My administration's kind of like a Royale. That's like a king, right? That's kind of like a Royale, royalty. My Royale is kind of one of the best Royales. Like this fine Asian man just said, we have the best Royales with cheese in my Trump Tower. Fucking God. 4 years, a Democrat takes office again. What are they going to be, all sunshine and rainbows and like gay rights and everything again? Like, fucking hell.
I know. And it'll just be as pedantic as it always has been. And people just eat this shit up, man. I don't know. Like,
it's not about free expression. It's just all about what makes them the most money.
Money.
My God, money.
Why did you change the community guidelines? Money.
They actually are going to do there is confirmation in the article, by the way. They are going to do the community notes thing that Twitter does, which is actually good. I like that feature because, like, whenever somebody says something that's blatantly untrue, people literally community note it and go like, lol, no. And it's really fucking funny. Because then they actually cite articles. If anything, the fact-checking on that website has low-key gotten kind of better in a way. So who knows how much this will radically change Facebook in that regard. I mean, you're not going to see any of this shit anyway, because all that's going to be on your page are the infected meme pages and shit that you can't even you can't even see. You know, like again, my mom. Is my mom okay? My mom posted something on Facebook. I can't see it because there's anime titties and there's some fucking AI bitch that Mark thought I wanted to see. They're already invading Instagram, man, too. I saw some of them. Like, there's like they're literal fake AI profiles. It's so dystopian, and we're just watching it fucking happen. Getting real doomer today. I'm sorry. I was in a bad mood about some other shit before, but like this is just really tickling my fucking butthole, like in the wrong ways. Feel that shit going right up my prostate. Wow. Wow. There's like no safe havens left with social media, I want to say. I mean, I think the closest thing would be Reddit, but but Reddit has so many fake stories and shit on it too. It's like
Reddit's also full of, it's very much, I think, another example of dead internet. I don't think it has gotten to the point where Facebook is trying to get to, but there is plenty of like just, you know,
and also
dead internet things there.
And also even beyond dead internet, we have classic new age internet, which is just, you know, echo chambers. When Reddit was the ultimate echo chamber, my god, Reddit was so sure Kamala was going to win. Oh my god, the circle jerk was insane. Everybody was so fucking sure. It got bad. And then what happened. You want to say Blue Sky, which could maybe take off eventually? The actual fact of the matter is, I don't think the dead internet theory is a conspiracy. I think it's here.
I don't know.
We're getting there.
Either.
We're fucking getting there, man. And like Facebook taking the stance that it's at, it's like, what's the actual solution here, Dennis? Is it to touch grass?
I think people are beyond. I think they're beyond saving with grass at this point.
You don't ever have to be beyond touching grass. There's so much more grass outside than social platforms and people.
Well, yes, but I think these people, if they wanted to already, they would have made that change. Don't you think? That's why, and this sounds like some real like kind of laissez-faire type shit, but like I'm also thinking, I'm personally thinking it's like we just gotta let this shit run its course, and like nothing lasts forever. Even shit like this won't last forever, and like you know, it's so funny because like everyone even back then used to think that like as far as the internet goes, it's like, oh, like, you know, this is as good as it gets, or at the very least, like people even thought like, oh, like, you know, what we have right now is so great. And you know, to a certain extent, like obviously I think YouTube and the internet from like 2010 was pretty much like a Wild West, almost golden age of that of internet, if that makes sense.
We didn't know what we had.
Yeah, exactly. We just really had no idea what we had. And I think
because we didn't know how much worse shit was going to get.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Like, I think people... But then, there's the thing. People didn't realize how much worse things could get. And it's so weird, because I find it so odd that I'm being positive about this, but, like, it's... But I personally also feel that there is a chance that things could get better. And it kind of reminds me of back then of, in The Dark Knight, we had Alfred kind of, you know, say to Master Bruce that, things are always going to get worse before they get better. And, you know, it's, I think it's kind of synonymous even here too. Because, like, things are getting kind of bad, for sure. And, but even things like that can't last forever either. And, you know, like look at all these fucking, not even CEOs, but look at all these dudes who in fucking LA who literally thought like, oh yeah, life is great. And then next day their house burned down.
And their insurance companies backed out.
And their insurance company just said, yo, sorry, we ain't gonna insure that. That is probably the most scummiest thing I've ever seen. It hasn't even...
It's not even recent. They did it years ago because they know that the places were always going to go up in smoke.
I did not know that. But, like, you know, just seeing an insurance company just straight up say, psych, and, like, just, like, not insure your house, like basically cancel the insurance like as the fire is going on. Like, I thought like that's still like fucking crazy to me. And like just like that, like hundreds of thousands of people just have they just fucked. They just you lost your house. Sorry, buddy, we can't help you.
Even though we pay you and write your salaries, too much is allowed in this country.
Too much. I think we're gonna wrap it up here, guys, and we apologize that it's a bit on the somber and melancholy, and even if nothing else, kind of angsty. End of things.
If I could fucking also really quickly express some notes of positivity as well, and in these notes of positivity, I'm going to repeat what you just quoted in Master Wayne.
Mm-hmm.
Things are always going to get worse before they get better. Ooh, that came out like a little Australian sounding. That was terrible. Shit. I went better.
You an Aussie, bro? You from the Outback?
If Randy an Aussie, then I'm an Aussie. That's my boy right there. Anyway. In a note of saying it's going to get worse before it gets better, I'm going to echo that with my sentiment here. I think social media is the worst thing that has ever happened to the world. One of the worst things.
But did it start off that way, though?
No.
But that's the thing, yeah.
No, it used to just be what was essentially an online phone book. But what I'm optimistic about, Dennis, is that more people are realizing that. I'm sure there's even more people that aren't realizing that and don't care. But more and more people are. Bo Burnham sang the song Welcome to the Internet. And you saw what that song had the impact before he fucked off and got off the internet and now is living on an island somewhere or whatever the fuck he is or what he's doing. God bless his soul. I'm optimistic actually about that because I've always said that I think social media is one of the worst things that's ever happened in the world. It's the reason Trump won. It radicalizes a shit ton of people, both for good and quite frankly bad reasons. It causes flame wars. It makes people less social. It's the biggest irony of our fucking generation. It's the biggest irony of the waking world today that social media has made us less social than ever. We're living in the antisocial century. Americans are spending more time alone than we ever have. It's changing our personalities, our politics, our relationship to fucking reality because we have so many drunkle stands now who are going to have their disillusionments about reality catered to by people like fucking Zuckerberg because that's what's profitable now. But it's not real. None of it's real. Twitter's not a real place. Dave Chappelle said it first before anybody caught onto the wave. Social media is not a real place. None of this is real. The less time you spend online, the happier you are. It's my number one advice that I give to incels. You want to actually meet with an actual woman? Do you expect one to fall in your lap while you're in your fucking bedroom typing on 4chan? They're outside of your room, fuckface. You have to leave to go get them. That's how it works, and no one realizes that simple concept because they spend so much time online getting so caught up and mixed in their little fucking boy and girl groups and their shitty little cliques and realities and their political spectrums that they don't even realize the off button is right there. You can turn it off. You're the one with the power.
Good door, just walk up.
It's the biggest... It's the biggest irony that exists nowadays, that social media, something that was created originally as an online phone book, an easier way to just remember your friends' birthdays, communicate with your friends, talk with all of you at once, create events. A whole revolution formed on Facebook when the Egyptian revolution happened and the Palm Springs? What was it called? Not the Palm Springs, it's the fucking hotel. The Arab Springs, Jesus Christ. I said Palm Springs like the fucking hotel, my God. I'm an idiot. But anyway, all this shit that it can do, right? It started as a social platform, but there is nothing social about social media anymore. And with all the psychology that dwells around it now about the negative impacts of social media and how it's negatively impacting people, what I see people say online all the time is that it's bad for you. I've seen a lot of notions nowadays online of people talking about how bad social media is for you now. It was something that we all knew in the back of our minds, but in recent years, and I think it's going to happen even more within the next coming years, especially because of the new administration and how the biggest social platform in the world biggest social media platform in the world is now implementing these rules, that more and more people, Dennis, are gonna realize that. Because you can do all this shit on social media all you want. It's not gonna change the human social consciousness, because all it takes to get back to that is to go outside, take your shoes and socks off and just walk outside in the grass for a bit.
Not right now, though. It's 20 degrees.
Yeah, not right now. It's 20 degrees. Or in the summer either, because you might get ringworm, and then you'll have to go back on Facebook to contact a doctor and ask your friends and family, like, anybody know any good, like, podiatrists? This worm in my feet.
But then you'd ask them first, is like, so why do you need to see one? Oh, I walked outside and I took off my shoes and socks and got a ringworm. You're a fucking idiot. Anyways, yeah, here's
and then your drunkle Stan comes into that conversation and starts venting about like Obama's lies and shit.
Yo, if someone brings up Obama's lies, and I'm just kind of like, bro, Obama hasn't been president in like 12 years, man.
Yeah, but it's his fault that fucking. And like you're just sitting there on Facebook asking for a good foot doctor. Like, does anybody know any good feet doctors? And then he comes in, he's just like, I fucking think that they're hiding the aliens. And I'm just gonna say what I'm thinking.
All right, Uncle. Come on, let's get you. I didn't like
Obama, and it's because he was black. I'm just gonna say it.
Dad, get your brother. Yeah, take care of your brother. Come on, let's get him the fuck out of here.
Was slavery really that bad?
They had their own bathrooms. Why are they so up?
Drunkle Stan, who is your podiatrist? So bad. I think you need a proctologist because you're pretty fucking butthurt right now, bro. Literally, I was asking for feet doctors. You're coming and venting about, like, Bernie Sanders.
I know a feet doctor. He's one of them curry eaters. I don't want to go to him.
The only feet you need is my fucking boot up your liberal ass.
You know what? Can I just say something before we end it today?
Please.
I know. We don't like this guy.
Stan?
No. We don't like this guy that I'm about to mention at all. He's a piece of shit, for sure.
Okay.
But at the very least, he is one of the few people who's ever said out loud that I'm a little retarded. To his credit, okay? I know. I understand. He has said and done a lot of just piece of shit things. We get it. We understand. He's a terrible person. But he is one of the few people who I've ever seen who's admitted to out loud to everybody in the world that is I'm a little retarded. All right.
You gotta praise Elon for it then too, because there was an article that came out about Elon Musk recently, like with his father or his parents, like mentioning that he was on the spectrum.
He's retarded?
To the point where he's mentally retarded. And Elon replied to it and he said they weren't exactly wrong. So if you're gonna praise Alex Jones for that, you gotta be like, Elon. At least Elon's able to admit he's a retard too. It's fine.
So then that's why I'm saying.
At least he said it,
And I feel it's that kind of honesty that I kind of miss right now, because there is just so much shit going on right now. It's not even been 2 weeks. It's not even been 2 weeks, folks. And already a major city of our country is literally on fucking fire.
Yeah, 2025 ain't starting so good.
We commiserate with any of y'all who are out there, in LA, and just hope y'all are taking care of yourselves, taking care of your family, and kind of hope y'all are not in that blaze right now. And and of course, we have, again, social media changing again for the upteenth time into another beast. Seems like a fucking trend at this point, where whatever identity a certain social media platform had, it just changes every year. So we just today, this year, it's just hatespeech.com. It's basically that right now. It's basically that's what it is. Yeah. And we'll see what it turns into next year too. Who knows? But
you miss when people were honest. I miss when Facebook was about Farmville and poking your grandma.
Poking people. What was another thing? Wishing birthdays to people you didn't even give a fuck about, but you just knew it was their birthday because you were friends with them.
Even if Facebook, with what it's become, even if we don't fucking even if with the dead internet theory, even if that didn't exist, you really need to keep in touch with this person you met at a backyard barbecue 6 years ago. Is this shit really? I mean, hey, without that, I mean, I met Dennis at a backyard barbecue, like however many years ago, and then look at us now. So
Yeah.
But that was back when Facebook was
We were
actually
literally touching grass as we were eating meat.
We were, but that was, like I said before, when Facebook was actually a social media platform.
Yep, and not the
know what
arena that it is today.
The arena.
It's an arena, man.
Square
Come
up.
on now. Literally, it's just
Square
like
up, pussy.
a big coliseum.
I like Gladiator better.
Yeah,
plugs.
it's getting long out here, but plugs.
Here's
yes,
the plugs. Boom.
Here's we're not on hatespeech.com, as you well know, for the last like 100 and whatever the fuck amount of episodes we've done so far.
Well, we are
Instagram.
on hatespeech.com because Instagram's going to eventually become hatespeech.com, and X
What
is
are
already
people gonna do though,
hatespeech.com.
man? On Instagram,
Catch us
Instagram,
on Blue Sky.
Instagram needs its thoughts. That is thought central. That is what it needs to stay as. There's gotta be a place for all these thoughts. Because they're definitely not. What are they gonna do? What are they gonna put up? Like the alt-right flag over their titties and just be like, yes. What are they? Is that like, gonna be the fucking wave now? No. Instagram needs to stay a strictly apolitical thought central place. It needs to stay as that. Let Facebook and Twitter burn if they have to. Just let Instagram stay as what it is, because there is nothing else going for that place if the thoughts leave. There is nothing there. Tumblr crumbled for one reason only, and we all know why. They learned from Tumblr's mistake, if nothing else. You take these thoughts as platforms away, where else are they gonna go, man? Where are they gonna go? They're not going to blue fucking sky.
Not yet.
They're not going there, man. I'm telling you. They're gonna go to all these MAGA motherfuckers. I mean, maybe it'll work. I don't know, but like, I don't know. Even MAGA motherfuckers be horny too. So it's like, who knows what'll work. But
wait till they find out the Christian nationalists at the top don't want them to have premarital sex and ban birth control. That's gonna be good for the porn business,
while
right?
they have that little piece of paper over their titties, just gonna be like that. Just, they do that shit at TikTok where they like slide the cards off. It's gonna be like that. It's gonna slide the cards off over the naked body. And
one of them's just gonna be a Confederate flag. At the end of it, there's a Make America Great Again sign and another one.
With a cowboy hat right on top. She looks like a Daisy Dukes looking hoe.
Man, Haley Welch's career is gonna take a tank if she winds up having to pay back all that money.
That's why Instagram's gotta stay where it's at.
She's gonna be the greatest Instagram thought whoever done thoughted it up. We're done. Plugs. YouTube.com/Nintoonist. While we're still on X or whatever, you can follow us there. Check us out on Instagram as well. Not on Facebook or whatever, even though it's the same company. There's no safe havens left. I don't want to be on social media anymore, but like if you run a podcast, you have to.
Yep.
We gotta make a Blue Sky. It's the only safe haven left.
I would not mind that at all. I have never even seen Blue Sky. I was gonna say Balloon Sky. Blue Sky. I never really seen it.
Well, as soon as X hit the shitter and they announced that, blocking people was not going to exist anymore, which they literally can't do. That's illegal.
That's crazy, actually.
Blue Sky shot up, ridiculous amounts. It got millions and millions over, a very short amount of time. Is that, 200? It's either 26 million or 260 million. I forgot. I think it's only 26 million. I got to look it up. But I wouldn't be down. I'd be down to migrate there, if I'm being honest.
Yeah.
We love y'all. We gotta go. Gotta edit this at some point, and it already went on way longer than we said it was going to. So I'm.
Yeah, but shit was funny though.
Yeah, but it was funny, huh?
But it was funny.
But it was funny, huh?